in Koha, it's possible for librarians and for users to create public lists. So we've got examples here of what you could create as lists. So let's say right now we're coming up towards Easter and Anzac Day. What you might do is search your catalogue and group together resources to do with Easter and resources to do with the Anzacs in World War I and II, and put them into a public list. That means if someone's interested in Easter or Anzacs, they can go to this one page and it's collated all of these related records together, so they can see in one page anything that they want to know about Anzacs, all the library's collection related to Anzacs. Similarly, you've got, for example, New Zealand collections. So things like New Zealand authors, you might put all of them together in a list. So you can create these public lists, and that's helpful. But what we want to do is make it really accessible and visible to users so they actually use it. Otherwise, the librarians are spending all of this time compiling and updating and keeping updated these lists, but it's not actually being seen by people. Out of the box in Koha, lists aren't very obvious. So if we look at the screenshot of the Catalyst Koha demo site, what you have is at the top of the page, you've got lists, which is a drop-down. And if you click on this drop-down, we can see all of the public lists. So we've got two lists in the screenshot, new arrivals and view all. Problem is, unless I click on this lists link at the top, I'm going to completely miss that as a library user. What can we do to improve this, to make it more obvious, and also obvious in a visual way? Well, what we can do is, I'm going to go for an example of what you can do to make this obvious. So this is what the OPAC looks like before. We're going to do a before and after here. So this is what it looks like before, and this is what it looks like after. So what I've done, rather than just having the lists drop down is still there, that doesn't disappear. But what I'm doing is making really obvious when our library users get to the OPAC, they're going to see March 2024, 2025 lists. First thing they see in a very visual way. So we've got new arrivals with an image, and we've got Easter with an image. And if you click on this, you go to the list. So we're showing in a nice visual way, highlighting these lists. And this is something you can update. So you might say, you might have a display for your March lists, and then in April, you make an April list and you change these images and these links. So you constantly, every month, you're highlighting different lists based on different topics in your catalogue or events that are coming up, like Easter, Anzac Day, Matariki, and so on. How do we actually get there? How do we add this? What's the process? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a live demo for how you go about adding this lists display. One thing to add before I do is I've also supplied the source code so that if you want to, you can actually copy it from the slide after this and paste it into your HTML customization. It will give you a base to play around with to get a similar display as this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the window I'm sharing, and we will have a go with this. Hopefully everyone can see we've got the Catalyst demo site open. And what I'm going to just reshare that again. There we go. I'm going to add that content. So I'm on the right-hand side of the page. I've got the Koha staff client, and the left-hand side, I've got the Koha OPAC. On the staff client, I'm going to go to Tools. Then I'm going to, under Additional Tools, I'm going to go down to HTML customizations. As I mentioned, this page shows you all of the customizations, these content areas you've got right now. I'm going to click to new entry and make a new one, and I'm going to call it opaque main user block. I want it to display to all users in the opaque, and I'm going to choose a publication date of today because I want it to display once I've saved it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a title, March 2025, public lists. And what I'm going to do is I am going to click Insert, and I'm going to choose a table, and I'm going to choose, with this feature, I can actually choose I'm going to choose a 2x3 table. So that adds a table, and I haven't had to write any code. I'm now going to click on the table, right click, go to table properties, and I'm going to set a border width of 0, because even though I want a table to display, even though I want a table added to the page, I don't want all the lines of the table displaying. So that's added a borderless table. Now I'm going to highlight the 2 topmost cells of this table, and I'm going to right click and I'm going to click on Cell Merge Cells. So that means it's going to be a singular cell across the top. Now I'm going to add a heading to my table. So view our March public lists, and I'm going to do a bit of styling of this. I'm going to center align it. I'm going to give it a heading 1. Oh, it's larger, and that has added that. And if I just save that now and come back over to the opaque, I've got that. View our March public lists. So now I'm going to edit it again, and I'm going to add more. So what I want to do, I want to add some images, and I want to add some links. So first up, I'm going to click on the cell in the second row, insert image, and I'm going to insert an image. For source, this is where do you want to pull the image from? Where in the internet does this image live so that Koha can display it? It's really important that the source is it's a location on a web page, or it's not just locally on your computer. It's not just stored in a file on your computer. It needs to be on the internet so Koha can actually fetch and display it. So we can see that this image is from images.pexels.com. So it's it's an image that's stored on the internet. And I'm now going to give an alternative description. And this is really important to add because it's what's displayed to users that use a screen reader. And also, if people can't load the image because perhaps they have a poor internet connection, the alternate description is what's displayed. So it is useful and important to add a description of what the image shows. So I'm going to add that. And I'm also going to choose a width, specify a width of 183 and a height of 275 and save, and that's added my image. Then I'm going to go to the second cell and add another image for that. And here I'm going to add the image, an alternate description, and then a width for this. Just tweak that, the insert image. What's possible also is you can actually drag these across. So I've just accidentally added it to the wrong column, but you can drag across. What I'm going to do now is center align these by clicking on them and then clicking center align. And then I'm going to add 2 links below the images. So that's just insert and then link. And then I'm going to actually paste the link in for those lists in Koha. So this URL here is a Koha link, and that will take the user, when they click on the link, to the list page in the OPAC. So I'm going to text to display is what word is going to be displayed to the user, but rather than displaying a great long ugly link, you can actually display words. I'm going to do new arrivals. And I'm going to just improve the formatting of that by center aligning that, making it a heading 3. And then I'm going to do the same for my Easter 2025 list. So again, I'm putting the Koha list URL in. I'm going to display the text of Easter 2025. Save that. Center align it. And make it a heading 3. And now I'm going to save this. I've saved my HTML. And then we have the list displaying my little visual display of lists showing. So when the user first goes to the OPAC, they're going to see, okay, there's a new arrivals list and an Easter 2025 list. And if I click on, say, for example, Easter 2025, I go to that list page. So that's a way that you can highlight your lists quite nicely. And I had a really good example here to show you. So if we just go back to the slides. Just grab just get the correct slide. Just have to jump through them. Apologies for that. Here we are. So this is a screenshot of the Chartered Accountants OPAC, a screenshot from their OPAC. And we can see that they have done a visual display for their different lists as well. So we can see under the reading lists heading, I've got 4 boxes, and those boxes contain images and text. And these are different reading lists that they've created in Koha that they're highlighting in a visual way. So we've got Australian tax, New Zealand tax, magazines, women's personal and career development. So that's kind of an example, a more sophisticated example of what we've just had a quick play around with, which is adding a HTML customization, adding a table, and adding a few images and a few links to essentially highlight parts of the OPAC that otherwise people would easily miss.